I'm really liking today's whole look. Like, I love today's look. Like, I did really well with my makeup and the whole. I feel so proud of myself. And another thing, I feel proud of myself, which now highlights this video why it's more positive, not complaining as much video, is because um, I sat in my bus on my way home. It's kind of sleepy, but it was not comfortable for me to fall asleep. Um, Reflecting, and I was reflecting on all that I accomplished in the last like 12 hours, and how I also feel empowered I can continue doing more stuff. And it just gave me like in that moment, I this justification that made like came in such conviction that made me okay. I need to share this. I was going to tweet, but then where I went didn't have any internet, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a video. And then I'm gonna add the other justification I also got. Like the video where I said, I think I figured out the why. This is also, I think I figured out the why. But as much as I figured it out, I'm still not taking this foolishness. I understand there's a reason, the purpose, and whatever. But I've had enough. So as much as I see the purpose, if this continues like this, I'm going to find a way out. I don't give a shit if it's not the promises. I don't give a shit. So what happened today or what I reflected and realized what I've done is last night, like in the last 12, like now it's 18 hours, last 24 hours actually. I've accomplished so much. And I feel still motivated to can accomplish more. And it's not like accomplish more in the sense of I should be doing a whole lot, but in the sense that based on all the things God and I have planned, I mean, we have a lot planned for years. Like he's been planting some ideas, and then I'm getting more and wide ranges, but it still centers on changing a lot of things. Well, here in Jamaica, in changing things that would eventually change the world, and most of it is focused on film and a production company and a fashion store. And no, my light is going. Focus on film. It's focused on a fashion, mostly a production company technically, and then everything else kind of fill in there. But it's mostly film and scale, and I know I'm going to do a clothing store. But then there's other stuff that are still connected to it, but still overall, it's supposed to make a big impact and change, especially here in Jamaica, that may even change the economy. And so there's a lot of things. Then, because I'm like, God's like, oh, I'm not going to make you wait to get married. I even chose your husband. So you're doing this not alone, and you forget, because I'll get too busy sometimes. I forget about dating and those things. And then things that I want, like children and so on, I might forget and whatever. I understand why God does what he's doing. But at the same time. So, but then there is a point where I'm like, okay, God, you chose a husband. Okay. My plan is wait 3 years, 7 years before we talk about children. He's like, no. Children can start early. And I'm like, after all the things we have to do, like children have to be a part of, like, that is, like some things will be settled and get established, then the children will be a part of added to the equation. But here's the thing. Some years ago, we're in the middle of pageantry and all the things I had to accomplish, and I'm all over the place, taking bus here or there, like I'm budgeting, getting here or there, all over the place, because I have to get things done on all the things that I've placed on tasks I want to do, whether it's choir, pageant, this, work, and I'm able to go to everything. I remember my sister was like, Danielle, stressing out. I'm like, no, I don't. But what I really sit back, I'm like, okay, I think she's trying to say is you thrive or not thrive. You can take on a lot and do it well. I see that. In the sense that I could be and I'm like, okay, what else? Need to do that? Okay, all right. And yes, I do need a break. And I do need to take breaks. And I do take my breaks. But I can take on a lot. And I think COVID kind of was a break, a forced break. But I can take on a lot and do it well. So I do well under stress or pressure or under a lot of load. And so I think what happened today is a reminder and a reassurance that even though God is planning things, and I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. I don't want it that way. But what? It's like I'm starting to see. Okay, fine. I can see how I can manage, like a baby hair, and I'm in business meeting, like bruh. Because I'm like a lot of these things will be just starting. So I'll be because a lot of these things too, other than film and I think fashion, I would get people with vision that can see the vision and can execute it to take control of a lot of the ideas, except for the film and the fashion. That one I'll be more hands on. But that doesn't mean I won't be having meeting for all the other businesses. I have to be in those meetings to make sure it's still along the vision. So I'll be like, as always, I researched this. I'll be like, I'd be the president and I'll have CEOs. The president has the vision. The CEO, the chief executive officer, will be executing what the president, the founder, the person above, sees. So they get the job done. The president, deal with the everyday problems. They solve the problems to achieve the vision or aim towards the vision. To have the president. So obviously I'll be needing meetings. I don't need to fine tune everything. Once it's getting done, I'm like, you guys need to solve the problem. Get to the point. Get to the vision. Get to the vision. Get to the vision. So I'll be in the meetings. And then to be a wife, that's the whole job. Then to be Pitney, and mind you, I don't want to hand off my job as much as. This is also another why I see God choose not just the God declared husband, the whole family, because the mother wants to be actively involved. And I want that because I want a lot of children, so I can't do everything on my own. But I'm not the person I want to hand over and you deal with the child and I'll be busy. No, I want to be all up in there. They must know who mommy is. I am mommy. I'm mommy. Yeah, mommy. And mommy has final say. Yes, grandma. Yes, you love grandma. Cool. Have your connection with grandma. But I'm mommy. Yeah. Point is, I want to be hands on. So if I'm gonna be hands on and all this on my plate and I was fighting God real hard. I was fighting God real hard because I know what we had planned. Like we sat and we talked and we write. I'm not just talking last year when I was in my car. My car, we put it all in paper like it's a finalized. I'm talking years where I'm like, yeah, I want to do. I remember sitting down. My father was like talking about something. I don't remember what it is, but I remember sitting down. I was like, yeah, I know I'll be traveling. I know. And one of the things I want to make sure I have with Sabbath is sometimes I'll just take a flight, a red eye from China or wherever I'm filming or having a production or whatever meeting. And when I'm flying, I'm taking a red eye so that I can have Sabbath with my whole family. Like even if I'm all the way in China, red eye to China from China for Sabbath with my husband and children. If I have to be away for whatever time period. This was me. This is 2022. This is me in 2018 talking to my parents because I already saw the vision from then. Like I saw okay, I want sometime my family would be traveling with us. I don't know what my husband would be like in the sense I don't know what he will be, and I'm not going to isolate him into one space where we all together will be making that vision work. He could be a teacher. He could be a banker. He could be anything. I just know what I'll be doing and what I want to do and what I would open to and what I want to see happen and what I already could see and plan for. So I was like, yeah. But this whole like starting the business, the stress of starting the business is and a baby. Then also, I remember I was like doing some stuff for church, and I took my friend's son because I was like, I miss him. I haven't, and I'm there on he's on my side, so me I walk on down in the heels, and I'm there dealing with stuff in church, and I'm like, hold on, why do I feel so comfortable? So I guess it was like a foreshadow of what's yeah. So that also today the kind of brought that like, oh, you kind of giving me a reassurance that yeah, I can handle it, so I can be like more accepting to any times. I feel like I was gonna bawl when I find out whenever it happens, because it's gonna happen. Like way God is telling me it's gonna happen earlier than I want it to, and I feel like I was gonna bawl and be miserable and just make it miserable of life because I'm like, what is this? And I still am not fully accepting, but it's like I'm okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. This is where I've reached. Okay, God, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Still doesn't mean I'm like, okay. But then also, I also see what he's saying in regards to why I'm where I'm at, because I also saw like other things that God was doing, right? With other things, for example, where I'm at. I think God also, because I figured out the why video, and it was more on the negative side of Jamaica. Hey, I know Jamaica has beauty, and I always know that there is great people that exist in Jamaica. And he's like, God is like, okay, yeah, I wanted to show you some. And that's where I end up being around some amazing people. Like I'm looking at this amazing young lady right here. She's so amazing and she's awesome. And I always tell her people gonna underestimate her because she's amazing. But it's like a subtle amazing that people always say the other things because she tried to hide it too. But she's awesome. And people tend to underestimate her. And God has been using her and showing her strength. And I'm like, girl, you amazing. Amazing. Yeah. And it's not just her, like her whole family. Perfect? No, nobody's perfect. But it's like in comparison to kind people and people who want to be known that they were kind and they're not generally kind. And they just find their identity in it, even though they're not necessarily. I'm not throwing shade, but that's a lot of the people where I was coming from. From where I'm at, these are genuine. Them no business fish shows, but they're actually genuine. They're not looking for anything in regards to even acknowledgement, or they're genuinely kind, genuine, amazing people. And a lot of people would underestimate them. You gotta make sure, like, oh, you need to also know how to spot the good ones too, even when they're not. A lot of people don't tend to spot them. You need to spot them. Hmm. And that's one of the one. I think I also need another why, but I'm gonna add the but. I ain't. I am not settling in the sense that this is not what God asks. I prepared for delivery, not to wait, because God did not tell me to wait. And so I'm not settling, and I'm going to prepare myself to make change. And I want to make sure I made that clear. And then also, I think I need to discover another why. Oh, yes, another why, because I was placed in another situation where I saw another opportunity to make change in Jamaica that is going to be like amazing change too. Hopefully, I get to execute it in a way I can envision it. Like, ooh. And if I wasn't placed in where I was, like, I remember after I went to this event, which is a football game, I was like, oh, this is one of the whys. Cause like, bruh, I just got the inspiration and I could change. It would change so many. It would change the dynamic of Jamaica, bruh. It's like another why, but I have to put the but. I said, as much as I can see the vision, it gotta be like delivery. Cause God keep telling me it's delivery. I don't care if you, in your opinion, it's wait. God never tell me if you wait, and I'm not waiting. So either I fix it the way I want to fix it, or you work with the program and start moving where God was telling to move. Cause it's time. It's time. It's time. It's been time, long time, but he's been okay. Let me use this delay and all these stuff to do his purpose. But it's time. It's been time. And no, it's time. Or I'm just going because and I think that's maybe the other reason why God chose me. Maybe that's not the reason why God chose me. Not to say I'm like suspicious, whatever. I don't settle. I've never been able to settle. Even I remember on this job interview, and I have like 5 of the many jobs I've been in, and many of those jobs didn't accommodate with my acting career pathway. And did I settle? Hell no. You're interfering with my goals. I cut. I stuck with myself. I was like, I remember hearing stories of, many people they get comfortable in work. I was like, hell no, that ain't happening to me. That's not my goal. I'm not working at Tim Hortons longer than I need to if it's not going to take me to my goal. So when it was interfering with my auditions and my acting, I was gone. That's why I ended up with Uber, because it was like I could Uber to my auditions. Like if it not taking to my goal, so I ain't gonna settle with this. God said, and this is getting hella uncomfortable, hella ridiculous, hella enough things. I ain't settling. So it's time for change. And it's either I change or y'all settle with it, start moving with God's plan and start moving with the program. Let's start moving with the program. Let's start moving with the motherfucking program. I don't give a shit if you don't like the motherfucking part of things. I'm pissed off. So you're starting to move in with the motherfucking program. Or I just move the fuck on. I'm talking to all of y'all involved. All of y'all. All of y'all. Not just referring to one person.